Hello. So in this module, I'm going to be setting up Microsoft Entra Connect on my local server. On my left is my local server. So that is my VM. I've installed Microsoft Entra Connect. It's still called Azure AD Connect. So we're going to start the um, installation wizard. It's preparing, and now it's setting up. Okay, so there was an error because Microsoft Entra Connect does not work with TLS version 1. So I have configured TLS version 2, and now we can see that it is back up and running. So now we just need to complete the setup wizard and we should be good to go. So we agree to the terms and conditions, we go continue. And since this is a single domain, like a single directory forest, only one domain in the forest, not multiple domains or multiple forests, I prefer to use the express settings. So when you click on the express settings, it will give you the option to specify if you want some configuration. So here it tells us to connect to a Microsoft Entra ID. So, so once that is provided, you go next. It verifies the key credentials. So it tells us to log in into our Microsoft Entra tenant, which is what I'm about to do now. And now that is verified. So now it is telling us to connect our Active Directory, that is our on-prem directory. It is telling us to connect it to the Azure tenant. So I'm going to put in my global admin for the local directory, that's for the on-prem directory. And you go next. Now that is confirmed. So basically, because I have a different domain name on my on-prem compared to the domain name I have in the cloud environment, that is why it is showing this information. So I could add it or I could leave it as it is. So I'm going to try to add it. Okay, so for now, Azure is telling me to pay to add it. So I'm going to continue without matching the UPN suffix. I go next, and now the configuration is going on. So these are some of the things it is going to add, and then you go install. So it's a very long installation process that took about 10 to 15 minutes, but now it's fully completed and you can see the final message, configuration complete, and we just have like the feedback of some of the things that the configuration is about. So that's that for now. See you in the next one. So now that the synchronization is complete, when you come to my Entra Administration Center, these are some of the users that I have. These are all, not some of the users that I have created in my on-prem environment, and these are the members that I have created. And you can see on here it lets us know which is the on-prem and which is the cloud. So for the test, which is a cloud user, you can see no why the others is showing as yes for on-prem synchronization. So this is the identity that's created for all of them, the company name and user principal name. So yeah. And also something to notice, this is the user synchronization account that the Connect Entra Connect wizard automatically created. So that is also noteworthy. I'll be making an administrative unit. An administrative unit is a subdivision of the members or the users in your Active Directory into units or group whereby they can be managed. In this sense, you can categorize them into administrative unit depending on location or department or any of those. So I'll be making a more detailed note about administrative units in my blog. So join me as I go through the process. Now to create an administrative unit, you come to the drop down and then you click on roles. Once you click on roles, you have it here, it says administrative unit. And here you can add a unit. Once you click on that, you have to specify the name of the unit. So let's say Paris, and then you put description, members of the Paris branch, then you go next. So here we have two options. The first option is to manually add up to 20 users. And the second options allows us to add bulk users of up to 200 users. So that's going to be like a text file. Each user is going to be on a single line. And you can manually do that, but you can automatically do that. But in this case, I'm going to select the text file. I'm going to select the manual option and then you click add users, and here it shows you some of the users in the domain. You can search for more users, but for now I'm just going to go with um, 1, 2, and 3, and then I have added 3 users. If you want to add a group, you can click on this, and these are some of the groups. You can search for more, let's say IT department. You click on that and then you add it. So now we've added some users to this unit and we added a group to the unit, and then you go next. So in the assign row section, you can assign different rows to the necessary members of this unit. Now, the advantage of this administrative unit is that it allows the concept of least privilege and also role-based access control. That is, the people in this unit or even the administrators in this unit, they do not have those administrative privileges outside this unit. So in this case, I'm going to choose the user administrative role. And here we have this section that says add assign admin. When you click on this, you have a pop-up on the side. In the general, it tells you like basic information about this role. And then when you click on assign, you can add a user. And here we're going to assign Ademola Ojo to this. And then you click add. Now, when you look at the permission, there is more detailed information about what the role is about and what permissions that role has. So you can read through it. If it meets your parameters or if it meets your requirements, you then close it. And then you go next. And just like that, you have created an administrative unit, assigned users into the unit and group, and then you have assigned a role to the to one of the users in the administrative unit. Now we have finally created the administrative unit from the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Now something noteworthy is you can also create this administrative unit from the Azure portal. So when we come to the Azure portal, we come to the drop down and we click on Microsoft Entra, and then we look for roles. Just under it, we have administrative unit. So when you click on administrative units, you can add administrative units from here. So let's say in a scenario whereby Ademola Ojo, who is the administrative unit user manager or user administrator, is on sick leave or something. So we can say that only one person is given this role currently. So if Ademola Ojo is on sick leave and we need someone else to take over that administration, we click on this section. Currently, I don't have the permission for that, but we click on this section, add assignment, and then we will have the blade that allows us to choose eligible or active. So basically, we leave that person in the eligible status. And when Ademola Ojo is on sick leave and someone else needs to take over, they simply need to perform one simple function, maybe request access, and then they will go from eligible to becoming active. So that's basically like creating a backup in case the main administrative unit administrator is not, the main unit administrator is not available. Okay, so another function in administrative unit management that reduces overhead, administrative overhead, is dynamic membership. So basically, when a person has some information in their profile, the system automatically synchronizes, and when they have those information, it adds them to certain administrative unit. So to do that, we come to the administrative unit, we click on it, we click on the properties drop down, and in this membership type we click on it, and then we click dynamic user. Now that we have dynamic user, we click add dynamic query, and then without any coding, we just simplify the parameters of what we want. For example, and so we choose a property either by country, by department, or something. So let's say, for example, we choose country, and then you choose operator, that is equals, and then you specify the value. So specifying the value is basically, let's say, France, because we only have one branch in France. So France, and then that's it. So when a user country is equal to France, they are automatically added to this administrative unit, and then you save it.